Yo, what's going on, you guys? Catface Kid here.
NANI?!
Yo, what's going on, you guys? Catface Kid here. I'm recording today's video from an undisclosed location. Shrek moved into the house next door last week, and he's been running around yelling at everyone, referring to the entire neighborhood as his swamp. And to be quite honest, I'm terrified. I figured out a way to get into his good graces, though. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Shrek 2 for home consoles, not to be confused with Shrek 2 for the PC or Shrek 2 for the Game Boy Advance, because those games didn't come to my birthday party. Neither did Shrek 2 for consoles, but of the three, it's the only one that responded no to the RSVP, so for that reason, I'm going to be reviewing a couch co-op game that I had to play alone, because nobody came to my birthday party. Jokes aside, I absolutely loved this game as a kid, and I'm kind of excited to revisit it to take a fresher look at just why it was so special to me growing up. It obviously means a lot to me because it's one of like 4 Let's Plays that I completed back when I used to do LPs on this channel, so for that reason alone, I've been officially certified by the Shrek 2 for Consoles Reviewing Committee Board of Shrek 2 Game Reviews to officially review this game. It's official, okay? Let's do this. At its very core, this game is essentially just a multiplayer beat 'em up, but to end the description there would be grossly underselling it. The Shrek skin over this game doesn't just sell copies, it actually adds an insane level of charm and spirit to what would otherwise be a relatively basic experience. It's not exactly what you do, rather how the characters from such a beloved franchise brought humor and freshness to a genre that at the time was already fun and exciting for sleepovers or kickbacks. I can't even count how many times I played this game through with a friend or two just to have an experience that was as fresh and entertaining as the last time that I popped it in. And I'm not just talking about in my distant childhood. Like, I still get together with my buddy Furman, who I LP'd the game with over 8 years ago, specifically to play through the first level or two of the game again, simply because we can enjoy it to almost the same degree that we did when we were in high school, even today. The story is nothing crazy special. It very loosely follows the events of the Shrek 2 film, which is the best one, by the way. But overall, it adds a lot of new moments to the story while also skipping over or removing entirely different segments that occur in the actual film. It debuts in about the same spot through a storybook opening discussing how Shrek and Fiona were invited to far, far away to meet the king and queen, but that's about where the parallels die. You begin the game of romping around Shrek Swamp with Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, and Gingy collecting essentials for the trip. You'll find that a lot of times the game makes narrative stretches to include 4 characters in the story at all times, and this is just to ensure that there's enough playable characters for the entire co-op party. And for me, this is completely fine. I don't play film licensed video games to perfectly relive the events of the movie. 1, because I don't hold high enough standards for licensed games, and 2, most of the time these games are adventures that don't take themselves very seriously. They are based off of silly animated kids films, and the plot already isn't that complicated. It's really just an excuse to have a good time as the animated characters that we loved watching on the big screen as children. And regardless of storytelling and beat inaccuracies, this game manages to do that at almost every moment. And like I mentioned, it still loosely follows the overarching story of the film. You get invited to Far, Far Away. King Harold is unhappy that his daughter married an ogre and is experiencing pressure from the fairy godmother to separate Fiona and Shrek. And ultimately it concludes with the final confrontation with the fairy godmother at the castle, just like that amazing I Need a Hero sequence from the movie. The gameplay is where this game really shines as a couch co-op. One of the main issues that came with playing video games alongside your friends or siblings as a kid was fighting over who got to play as the best or coolest character. What this game did really well was diversifying the cast of playable characters in a way that almost all of them had a reason to be played. The list of playable characters includes Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, Gingy, the Big Bad Wolf, Lil Red, Puss in Boots, and the Fairy. But even with so many options, they managed to distinguish each character in a fun and unique way anyway. Shrek has extra strength and can lift and throw objects and enemies. Fiona can slow down time to make fighting certain enemies and traversing certain obstacles possible. And Donkey has a special kick ability that increases accessibility and is required to progress at certain parts in the level. And there's so much more. The point is that everyone serves a unique purpose in level progression, which makes kids playing the game feel important to the experience regardless of who they're playing as. This is a huge deal for a 4-player local co-op that's targeted at children. Essentially, each level plays out with 4 of the playable casts needing to accomplish some kind of goal. Typically, this is just getting to the end of a linear map layout while fighting enemies, solving minor puzzles, or triggering switches along the way. There's one really cool level though called Far Far Away Land that isn't a traditional linear experience, but rather a hub in the city that offers a handful of bigger objectives. These are for you to accomplish to move on through the story. There are missions such as collecting chickens and securing them into a coop, collecting jewels from a rampaging troll, or escorting Cinderella through a shopping district while protecting her from muggers. It's just a really nice change of pace and switches up the formula while retaining the fun of the rest of the game. Additionally, each level offers a minigame known as Hero Time, in which a single character from the 4 playable options in the level has a shining moment where their skills are highlighted and put to the test. These are another great way to offer value to playing as a specific character, and they allow a player to shine if they've been using a single character throughout the entire adventure. And again, they offer a break in the traditional beat 'em up pastime of the game, so if for some reason you just hate fun and this was getting monotonous to you, you still get a chance to do something new that hypes up the experience in a completely different way. Some examples of this are Donkey and Dragon flying through an obstacle course, a rhythm minigame where Fiona sings with birds that explode like that scene in the first film, or a side-scrolling platforming segment with Puss in Boots maneuvering up a waterfall. Some of these can get pretty challenging, and they do add a lot of spice to the normal adventure. Alright, so some final points. This game is not exactly the best at anything. The graphics are mediocre, the voice acting is just okay, if not borderline pretty bad at some points.
It'll be a long journey, and nobody wants to see me hungry.
And it could definitely use some polishing. In terms of licensed games, it's definitely no Battle for Bikini Bottom, but that game was a diamond in the rough. At the end of the day, this game just succeeded well at everything it needed to, which, to be fair, wasn't a lot. It's by no means a perfect game, and I absolutely reviewed it with a nice, pristine pair of nostalgia goggles on, but I mean, it earned that. As a child, it offered me the exciting, memorable experience that it was shooting for with its target demographic, and as a result, it's resonated with me well into adulthood and will forever hold a special place in my heart. And while I was just talking about what it didn't do perfectly, the things that it did do good, it actually ended up doing really, really good. I mean, I think both subjectively and objectively, it ranks fairly high for me in my top couch co-op games, and it was truly so much more enjoyable than it had any right to be. I knew it was going to be good. Because everything Shrek related is perfect. I love Shrek. Me and my homies love Shrek. Shrek for president. Alright, I think I've said enough nice things about this game to get in pretty good with Shrek, so I'm gonna go downstairs and see if he's ready to be a friendly neighborhood ogre.
I am an ogre.
He ate my entire family.